Good morning, everybody. This is episode 33. Welcome back to Shut Up Info. Um, Quick disclaimer, don't take us too seriously. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, let's get started.
All right, sweet. So let's get started with what topics we have for the day. So in personal development, we have what are some good skills to have? More like what are some good skills to have? What are some good skills to have today in today's day and age? On the fitness side, we have how much water should you drink a day? And on the finance, we have what are the best ways to make money in order to trade and invest? And then news updates at the end.
That sounds good. All right. Or what are some skills to have? What do you think?
So, I mean, you already have one that I like. I mean, I also have it, but cooking. Cooking is definitely one of those fundamental skills that you definitely should have. Not only just for, the sake of surviving, but just that kind of, again, we were talking about that topic of being interesting or becoming interesting. Those are one of those things that are pretty interesting because I would wager say most guys don't really know how to cook, or they have a really rudimentary understanding of how to cook. So if you can go out of your way to learn at least a couple dishes and do them well, that looks very attractive and it's very useful.
Very good. So yeah, definitely. Now, in my opinion, the best skill to have is communication.
Because even abstract.
Yeah, because even if you know how to cook, how you get the ingredients without you not knowing how to communicate.
Google Translate, bro.
Yeah. So my opinion, not just like language, not just how to speak well, but I think it's also like the tonality of your voice, how you we talk before about body language, so how to read body language and how to kind of use body language to your advantage to communicate the message properly, as well as expressing yourself well. And that's something that I aim for like every single day. I re-listen to the podcast once or twice. So one before I posted and one after I posted. So I know what I'm doing wrong. Like that's a really good, like it's been helpful because I know that I be saying, I don't know, all the time. And that's something that I want to improve. So like when you go to an interview or just communicating with anybody, you don't want to sound, like mumbling. It just doesn't make you look confident. It just makes you doubting yourself. So communication, in my opinion, is the best skill to have and something that we should be improving every day. Cooking is a really good one. It's a fun one. But communication, I think, is the best.
So if you want to say like that, you can say with like abstract and concepts like that, I'll go more physical. So another physical skill that I think people should have is how to fight. So I would say some sort of martial art. I like jujitsu, but it doesn't have to just be jujitsu. Yeah. One, for the, the practical aspect of being able to fight and defend yourself, or, get out of situations or try to de-escalate situations instead of like just starting going crazy and you pick up a weapon or they pick up a weapon and then you guys are just throwing shit at each other.
Right.
If you know how to de-escalate a situation like that. I mean, obviously, always the first lesson in fighting is to, if the situation is there, try to get away from it.
Yeah.
But if you're backed into a corner and you can't do that, then obviously you're going to have to fight. So it's good to know that.
The first punch either, remember. That's something that I learned in karate. I went to, I think every man, like most of us, have been on some sort of martial arts when we were kids or young adults. So
I feel like it depends on the practice, the karate, or rather the martial art, because maybe in karate that's what they teach. You want to be the first one to throw, but in jiu-jitsu the whole thing is for you to control the situation. So you want to be the one that actively gets in there first.
That's interesting, because
the whole point is for you to control their body, right? So if they're going to try to swing at you and you can stop it, then that's what you want to do.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So you have more control once that punch is already being thrown, because when you defend yourself, you have more control to counterattack.
Yeah. Fair enough. It depends. It really.
Yeah, I think it depends. It depends, because we both were taught differently. But yeah, so that's actually a really good skill to have, especially you as a man, knowing how to defend yourself. It's very important. And I think throughout our years, we all been at least in one fight, or almost got into a fight. So I think experience matters as well. So if you learn how to deal with it, it plays a huge role once you confront those situations. So you never know. Like I mentioned, I like to travel, so I'm always usually like in the lookout for like any dangers around it. And also like if you travel abroad, I had suggest to get one pepper spray because just in case, you know,
Might be
I have
illegal
one
in
of
some
those every
places,
time.
but you gotta check. Said it might be illegal in some places, but you might want to check.
Yeah, but come on.
All right. All right. So
Especially if you are a woman. No, especially if you're a woman, you want to learn how to defend. Like me and my sister, we play around here and there. Like I'll be like, I'm training you because especially if you're a woman, you
start
gotta,
beating her up.
yeah, you gotta, and if you are a man and you have a sister, teach them how to defend yourself. What are the weak areas? Like the throat, the down area, the stomach, face. So teach them, and also, don't be afraid to like practice. Because me and my sister, we used to play fight like a lot.
Up the shit out
I
of each
think,
other.
yeah. Because also one of my sister, they went with karate with me when we were kids, so she knows how to defend. But it's always good to know some sort of martial arts and how to defend yourself, especially if you're a woman nowadays.
Right. All right. So how about one more for each? So I would say another one.
Mm-hmm.
What's another good skill to have? Knowing how to dress, I would say, is another big one.
Yeah. That's
right. So maybe you're not the person that's like really in shape and have a really aesthetic physique, but if you know how to dress well, that can cover a lot of it. Obviously, there's no substitute to exercising and everything, right? Looking healthy or being healthy, but if you know how to dress well, that really it just adds this level of, I guess, swagger is the best way to put it. Where like if you don't know how to actually dress properly, it doesn't matter how good you look, like physically. The clothing, your appearance, because appearance is a big thing, right? If your appearance is bad, it's not going to come across. You're not going to be taken seriously. People are not going to look at you and be like, oh, this guy not necessarily demands respect, but he's not the kind of guy that respects himself because he doesn't even want to go out of his way to, at least dress a certain way or look decent. Your appearance says a lot about you. So that's definitely one of those skills that
like the first impression is like the first thing that people sees about you, to be honest.
For sure. It doesn't even have to be anything crazy. Like you don't have to be buying the most expensive clothing and all that. Just make sure that the clothing looks well and is fitted to your body. And that's it. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Dressing is definitely one of those things that you wanna be doing right. One skill that came to my mind was shit. I forgot.
Oh no!
God. All right. Wait, it was a good one too. All right, I had to come back with this because I did as forgot.
Okay, that's fine. That was the last one.
That was the last one. Yeah, I can always just.
So if it comes back to you in the other sections, then you can just bring it up.
Facts.
All right. So just to not keep this as long, we're gonna jump right into the next topic here. So we're gonna jump into fitness. How much water should you drink a day?
Now,
how much water do you drink?
If you have noticed, I drink like 10 of these every day. So I don't know how much
I drink one of these
are. But usually I try to pass the 2 liters, but I usually end up drinking more than that.
Not a problem. So the general recommendations is usually between 2 liters and 1 gallon. Now, I would say you're going more towards 1 gallon if you're more active in a day. Like you're doing a lot of physical activity, exercising a lot, whatever the case might be. 2 liters, that's just like a bare minimum at least, just to help flush out whatever you have in your system. If you're eating anything, drinking water is going to help you flush out whatever you don't need, get rid of the waste and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You don't really need to be over consuming water,
right?
But you definitely want to be careful about under consuming water.
Yeah, so actually, if you over consume water, you are going to notice that you get a little bit jelly.
Yeah. So definitely, and that goes hand in hand with the diet.
Yeah, if you under consuming, your lips are gonna get chapped. You're gonna get bad breath, and it's awful. So try to get, your 8 cups of water. And I just remember what the skill was. It was listening. I think that's a good skill to have.
Okay.
So whether, in a relationship, whether just friends or family, if you know how to listen, like actually listen, I think is really helpful, because it just shows that you care, or it just shows that you're involved in in that conversation. So I think listening is another skill, those skills that you want to have, especially to communicate. Actually, this kind of goes hand to hand with communication. So
yeah, definitely they go. It's a really synchronous relationship. Let's see. So yeah, with water, I would say again, when you were saying the underconsumption, so you get really dehydrated.
Right.
There's a lot of physical processes that we don't really talk about that just kind of happen in your body, and water is really required to do that. And if you're not consuming enough water, that's when you start getting your pee starts turning really really dark. So your body's just flushing, or it's just trying to use whatever it has available as a water source, but you're losing a lot of vital nutrients and minerals in that process. So that's why you want to actually be consuming enough water, so your body doesn't just start like starving itself and just draining everything that it has in order to just have a little bit of water.
Right.
Let's see, I would, in terms of overconsumption in your diet. So the reason why you start getting a little bit more puffy if you start consuming a lot of water. So if you have a diet, or you eat foods that have a lot of salt, the salt is going to help you retain water. And if you're over consuming water, then you're going to retain a lot of water. And that's why people feel bloated, or they start getting a little bit more puffy when they start consuming a lot of water, because their diet has an overabundance of sodium. And we can talk about that another time as well. So you definitely want to be careful about that. Don't think like you're getting super fat and there's something wrong with you because you're starting to get bloated when you drink a lot of water. It's just likely due to the fact that you might have a little bit too much sodium in your diet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And water is one of those things that flush itself like really fast. Like I go to pee like probably 10 times a day because I drink water frequently. So, water.
Good. It's healthy.
Also, get creative when it comes to drinking water. Now, it can get annoying to walk to your kitchen and get some water, or if you got water bottles, it gets a little bit annoying. So what I do, I have this little nice cup. It just makes me feel fancy that I'm drinking water. But just be creative about it. There's water bottles out there that they sell on Target or on Amazon that literally keeps track of how much water you're consuming on that day. So it's very important because our body is made out of like 80% of water. So
70 to 80, yeah.
Well, what is it?
Oh, I would also 70 to 80%.
70 to 80%. There you go.
One last point here. So I would say that one of the big things also with water, if you can replace most of like the soft drinks that you have with just water, it's definitely really a healthy thing to do. One, you're not getting those extra calories from like a soda or some sort of juice or whatever when you're drinking or eating food, unless you're the type of person that needs to eat more calories in order to gain weight, but that's not really a majority of people. Yeah, so I would definitely try to just push more towards just drinking water whenever you're going to eat any kind of food. Just it makes it easier to not gain weight simply because you're not just adding extra calories on the side for no reason.
Correct. That's a very good point. All right, let's jump right into finance. What are the best ways to make money in order to trade and invest? So, AKA how to make capital, correct? If I'm not mistaken. So how can you create capital? You want to start it?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, man, you can do whatever you want, like whatever. Like, you want to become a stripper? That's a good way. You get the tax advantage as well. So there's that.
Yeah. I had thought about that so many times.
Right.
Becoming a stripper.
So I mean, like I've heard it so many times as well, but maybe one day soon. But I would say that like some of the best things that you can probably do is finding jobs that kind of help you or that don't. That's a good way to put it. Find easy jobs that you can do that don't mess up with your schedule in terms of whatever projects you're doing. Again, it doesn't really matter what it is. You could be working at a store, at a restaurant, whatever the case might be. the best way to raise capital is just by obviously doing your best to make as much money as you can, doing whatever you can, and minimizing the expenses. That's always going to be one of the big things. If you don't minimize, if you're not frugal with the money that you're making, then it doesn't matter how much money you're actually making. You will never have enough. Yep. So definitely try to manage it. So like, you know, in a week or within a month, you can only spend this amount of money and you are saving this amount of money and you're allocating this amount of money to save to investing and trading. Mm-hmm. That way, everything is kind of organized and it's not just up in the air and you're just kind of waiting for things to kind of happen. You already know how you're going to go about doing it as opposed to just hoping that it works out.
Yeah, you can use the 20, 30, 50 rule. So 20%, well, actually, let's just start with the biggest one. 50% it goes to your living expenses, such as rent, food, necessities. 30% goes into your investment portfolio or long-term portfolio. And 20% is going to be something that you give for yourself, like a little treat. Or you can go 50-50. I like to go a little bit more higher than that. Right now, because I don't pay rent like that, I go beyond that. So I do the other way around. So I put most of the money on the investment portfolio. I don't really buy or things that, you know, I like clothes and stuff like that. I'm very frugal on the aspect. So I don't need that 20%. So I just put it into the portfolio. And the rest, I just, you know, pay my bills and stuff that I need to pay. Now, going back to the things that you need to do to raise capital, the job market is very, very huge, very, very broad as well. So you can either go to like a 9-to-5, like get a job 9-to-5, do part-time, do freelance, if you want to go into real estate, do that, like become a real estate agent.
Realtor.
There's so many options. Just find something that it looks appealing and that you actually enjoy doing it. Because if you go into a job that you don't really care about, your performance is going to be bad. Like your performance is going to be really, really bad. And hence, your paycheck is going to reflect that. So do something that you actually enjoy doing. Like for me, the reason I chose computer science is not because I'm passionate about technology like that. Like, you know, like, oh my God, technology. Like I do enjoy technology at some point. But for me, the main point of me pursuing this career is mainly because to raise capital. Because I don't see me in the long term working as an IT guy or as a computer scientist or data analyst, you know, for the long run. Like I want to work for some period of time and then just use that money that I use as a capital for my investments and my projects that I have on the side. So if I'm lucky enough, I wouldn't have a 9-to-5 by my 30s. That's the goal. But yeah. I mean, I'm going to keep working. Like I like to work. I'm not a workaholic, but I like to work. So you're definitely going to see me working like on some sort of project or stuff like later on in life.
Yep.
Maybe into politics. Gonna become
I would also say like if you're more on the career side of things, like if your work is like career based, it might be a good idea to just to help you facilitate getting more money to switch jobs. So not even switch careers, like stay in the same career, but just like switch from a company, switch to a different company. Most of the time people kind of get underpaid. Like if you're the type of person that does a lot, has a lot of value, you bring a lot of value to the table, but like you've been working for the same company for years, you're kind of going to get stuck with the pay percentage that you're getting. So if you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, which is another thing we talked about not that long ago, you can bring it up to your superior and see if like they're willing to give you a pay raise in order to, you know, because you're doing the work that's necessary and you're doing a good job at it, hopefully. And if that's not the case, well, obviously, before you bring up that conversation, you should be looking in other places before you start like bringing up that conversation. Because if you bring it up and your boss is like, actually, you know what? I think we're overpaying you and we're going to drop that money. He's like, oh, okay, well, never mind. We're done here. You can just leave. But oftentimes it doesn't really happen. But again, that's one of those tactics that you could use in order to help you make a little bit more capital, especially if you're in a career in some sort of way.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And definitely don't be afraid to ask for a raise because like I said, if your performance is good, your paycheck is going to show and your boss is going to actually value your worth in the company. So, because you're a good asset to the company. But yeah, so there's multiple ways to do it, and it's just up to you to find a way to raise capital. It's not that hard, and you can also multitask. You can do freelance, like I said. Find something that you enjoy doing, something that you like doing or you're good at, and you can freelance. There's Fiverr. Fiverr is a really good one where you can find clients. But there's so many ways. Like you can even do like what's it called, like you check products and stuff, or like ads. Oh no ads, like consumer reviews or surveys. Like there's so many things that you can do. Just you just gotta look for it. But yeah, raising capital, it could be challenging and time consuming, but it's definitely worth it at the end of the day, in my opinion.
For sure.
You cannot start investing or do something or project without any sort of capital, any sort of means. Cool. All right. Any news updates on your end?
Well, I am getting absolutely destroyed by the EV market right now. Down like 10%, unfortunately. So one of the big things is just a general consensus is that like the whole sector is just really overvalued right now, which is fair enough, right? But also with the Chinese ones specifically, there's some fraud allegations going on with some of the companies, and like they were saying that they were selling more than what they actually were. And due to the fact that there was no regulation or any kind of certifying body checking to see the numbers for that company, they were kind of just making shit up. And eventually, like, it caught up to them. You know, everybody's kind of taking the hit. So obviously I'm big into Neo, but right now it's taking a big hit, which is, it is what it is. As it stands, I still see a good value in everything moving forward, especially Tesla, because I'm also in Tesla, and the S&P 500 inclusion once more of those.
Oh shit!
Hold on.
Go. All right. Okay. This might be a good time actually to bring this up. BlackBerry has a really good partnership with Amazon, and guess what market they're going into? BlackBerry.
BlackBerry.
Yeah, they just announced it yesterday. But guess which industry are they going into?
Cars?
They're going into cars, yes.
Fucking weak.
BlackBerry is, it used to be a mobile company. They used to manufacture phones, if you guys remember. So what they're doing now, they're just selling technology. So the technology is pretty much for cars. So everything that you see in the car is pretty interesting because everything is automated. So now you know how to check oil. So if you ever have checked oil before, you gotta go, bring the hoop up, check that little thing with the paper, and that's how you check the oil. But now with this technology, with BlackBerry's technology, it's just a sensor. So it's gonna tell you, like, oh, you need to change your oil. Boom. Now for the battery, it's gonna predict until when you need to change or charge your batteries, and it's gonna suggest you within like a sort of miles how far there's a charging station. So it's very exciting. But and now they went up 30% yesterday because investors are thinking that with this partnership that the technology of BlackBerry that is hosted on AWS, which is the Amazon servers, all the car companies are going to go to BlackBerry just to compete with Tesla, because Tesla already has some sort of this technology already. So they cannot go to Tesla because that's their competitor, but they can go to BlackBerry, which is just a seller of that technology. That's very exciting news, and we're gonna see what happens. And that's why Tesla also, it's a little bit felt a little bit yesterday, like it took the hit. But we will see what happens today. In other news, regardless of Zoom's earnings report yesterday, which were huge, it actually kept falling down yesterday, so it's 15% down right now, which is crazy. But yeah, the reason for it is that they expect to quadruple their earnings report, but the profit, it's not looking like very nice because there's a lot of free users. So that's the issue. Like a lot of people are on Zoom, but they're using it by free. All right.
We're using Zoom for free.
No, actually, we're not.
Oh,
I
we're
have,
not?
I have premium because for my work. I
Right.
premium.
Never mind.
That's why we go past the 45 minutes because like the limit I think is half an hour. Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
so that's one of the major issues that investors are looking at on Zoom. Other than that, there was a talk about the stimulus. I think it's like $3 trillion, something like that. But it's a huge number, but none of that is going to go to a stimulus checks. So don't expect the stimulus checks because there's talks on this new proposition. Unemployment, people are going to get $300. There's going to be about $1 billion on state fundings, and then some small companies. But there's not going to be a stimulus in this proposition. We'll see if it gets a pass or not by Congress, but something to look out for. Anything else to add?
No, that's pretty much it. Keep you posted on those positions that I have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's one thing. I can't remember it right now. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
All right. Then we can end it right here. I know it was actually this was a perfect timing. It wasn't too long, too bad. Okay.
Despite the interruption there, but it was good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the half of the week. We're getting there. All right. And the
Finish
second
strong. See you tomorrow.
What's up?
Said finish the week strong, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Peace out.